Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we're diving into something that is so much more than just a sports tournament. We're taking a journey through the FIFA World Cup, a century-long celebration of passion, sportsmanship, and just intense national pride. Whether you're a diehard fan who paints your face every 4 years, or, someone who just gets swept up in the global excitement, we're going to break down the history, the culture, the legends, and the unbelievable records that make this tournament the greatest spectacle on Earth.
Billions. Yeah, we're not talking about millions of viewers here. We are talking about literally billions of fans across the globe dropping whatever they're doing to tune in. The FIFA World Cup is the undisputed pinnacle of international football. Since it started, it's evolved into this unparalleled symbol of global unity and sporting excellence. It's really the one time every 4 years where the entire planet is essentially watching the exact same thing at the exact same time. So, to understand how we got to this massive scale, we've got to look back a bit. The whole concept was kicked off by FIFA president Jules Rimet, and that very first tournament in Uruguay back in 1930 featured just 13 teams. Fast forward through the decades, and we see this explosive growth, jumping to 24 teams in 1982, then 32 teams by 1998, and looking ahead to 2026, hosted by the US, Canada, and Mexico, we're entering a massive 48-team era. This expansion just perfectly mirrors football's unstoppable, growing popularity across every single continent. It's honestly incredible to see the contrast over nearly a century. Back in the very first final in 1930, host nation Uruguay defeated Argentina 4-2. Nearly 100 years later, Argentina finally flipped the script to triumph in Qatar, which amazingly was the very first time the tournament was hosted in the Middle East. It just goes to show how much the tournament has evolved globally, reaching entirely new regions, all while those legendary, deep-rooted football rivalries remain the beating heart of the sport.
All right, let's move on to Section 1, Kings of the Pitch.
Out of the hundreds of nations that try to qualify, only a select few have actually climbed the mountain. The undisputed kings of world football sit right at the top. Brazil holds the absolute record with 5 World Cup titles, winning in 58, 62, 70, 94, and 2002. But breathing right down their necks are 2 European giants, Germany and Italy, each boasting 4 titles of their own. For these 3 nations, winning isn't just a goal, it is practically a cultural expectation. So yeah, winning a World Cup is incredibly rare. Beyond Brazil, Germany, and Italy, there's a super exclusive club of other successful nations to ever hoist the trophy. You've got Argentina with 3 titles, France and Uruguay with 2 each, and England and Spain rounding out the group with 1 title apiece. That's it. Out of nearly a century of play, only 8 countries have ever won the FIFA World Cup. Moving right along to Section 2, the culture of the Cup. Because this event is about way more than just the dominant teams on the field, it's also about the iconic hardware. 6.1, that's exactly how many kilograms the current FIFA World Cup trophy weighs. Introduced in 1974 to replace the original Jules Rimet trophy, it stands 36.8 centimeters tall, and it is crafted from solid 18-karat gold. Its brilliant design depicts 2 human figures spiraling upward to lift the earth. It is, without a doubt, one of the most recognizable and coveted sporting symbols in human history. And you can't forget the official match balls. They're basically legendary in their own right, constantly introducing innovative technology that redefines how the game is actually played. From the classic black and white paneled Telstar in 1970 to the Azteca in '86, the notoriously unpredictable Jabulani in South Africa in 2010, all the way to the highly aerodynamic Al Rihla in 2022. Every single ball perfectly captures the technological era of its respective tournament. And hey, we absolutely cannot talk about culture without mentioning the mascots. They've been representing the host nation's identity for decades, starting with World Cup Willie in England back in 1966. Over the years, we've seen Gauchito in Argentina, the rooster Futix in France, the wolf Zabivaca in Russia, and most recently the floating kafia Laib in Qatar. They just add this awesome layer of joy and distinct local flavor to the massive global broadcast. Now let's get into Section 3, Legends of the Pitch. Let's break down the ultimate individual honors. First up, the Golden Ball, awarded to the absolute best player of the tournament. You've got Maradona in '86, Zidane in 2006, and Lionel Messi making history by winning it twice in 2014 and 2022. Then there's the Golden Boot, giving purely to the highest goal scorer, the deadliest finishers. Think Just Fontaine, Miroslav Klose, and Kylian Mbappé in 2022.
It is the ultimate battle between overall brilliance and pure scoring power.
It is always fascinating to compare two of the greatest to ever lace up a pair of boots. On one side, you've got Brazil's Pelé. His extraordinary skill and vision totally transformed football, and he remains the only player in history to win 3 World Cups, 58, 62, and 70. On the other side, Argentina's Diego Maradona. Maradona represents pure solo brilliance. His legendary dribbling and leadership essentially carried Argentina to glory in 1986 on his back. Two very different types of legendary impact.
Then you have those rare players who fundamentally rewired the sport's DNA. Take total football, for example, a revolutionary tactical concept popularized by the Netherlands' Johan Cruyff. It's amazing to think about, really. It turned soccer from rigid positioning into this fluid, almost chess-like strategy, where any outfield player could take over the role of another. Cruyff brought a brand new archetype to the game. Similarly, Germany's Franz Beckenbauer, known as Der Kaiser, revolutionized the defender role and became one of the rare legends to win the cup as both a player and later as a coach. And jumping to modern legends, these are the guys who brought distinct, completely unforgettable styles to the pitch. We have the phenomenon, Ronaldo Nazário powering Brazil's 2002 triumph. Zinedine Zidane inspiring France to their first title in 1998 with pure technical elegance. Lionel Messi cementing his legacy as the ultimate leader for Argentina in 2022. And of course, Kylian Mbappé, the global superstar who scored a breathtaking hat-trick in that very same 2022 final. All right, finally, Section 4, Amazing World Cup Records. Which brings us to, honestly, probably our most mind-blowing topic today. I really want you to ask yourself, out of all the thousands of players and dozens of nations who have participated since 1930, whose names are etched most permanently in ink? Like, who holds the ultimate records? Let's take a look. First up, consistency. Brazil is the only nation to play in every single FIFA World Cup. Just let that sink in for a second. Through changing formats, qualifying challenges, and nearly 100 years of global history, Brazil has literally never missed the party. They are the eternal constants of this global spectacle. Next, we have the number 16. What is that? Well, it's the all-time record for the most total World Cup goals scored by a single individual across their career. That record is held by Germany's deadly striker, Miroslav Klose, who accumulated these 16 goals over 4 different tournaments. It is a massive testament to incredible longevity and finishing skill on the world's biggest stage. Now, if Klose represents longevity, this next record is basically a spectacular, unstoppable flash of lightning. Just Fontaine of France scored an absurd 13 goals. But here's the kicker. He didn't do it over 4 tournaments. No, he scored all 13 goals in a single World Cup in 1958. 13 goals in one tournament. It's a record that has stood for over 60 years, and many believe it will never, ever be touched. Which leaves us with this final, kind of provocative thought. As we look ahead to 2026, hosted by the US, Canada, and Mexico, we're entering an unprecedented 48-team era. More teams, more matches, more opportunities. So what do you think? Will this expanded format finally shatter the amazing history and quote-unquote unbreakable records we just explored? Or are the legends of the past simply untouchable? Keep that in mind the next time the whistle blows. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep your eyes on the pitch.